You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Hi, welcome to Vanished Voices. We're your hosts. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Shannon.
All right, it's a Monday morning in Memphis, February 19th, 2007. Downtown is already moving. It's winter. City moves a little slower, a little grayer, but it's moving. Peabody Place is one of those spots that always has some energy to it. It has restaurants, shops. It has the kind of foot traffic that makes the place feel alive, even on a weekday. Inside Jillian's restaurant, the morning shift is already underway, and Rica is there. That's what everyone called her. Not Ricarda, which was her full name, but Rica. She was 22 years old. She was 5'2", and according to every single person who worked alongside her, Rica was the kind of employee that you just didn't have to worry about. Her manager, Candy, would later tell reporters Rica was a model employee. And honestly, in the food industry, that's
saying something. Yeah,
exactly. Candy would say that if Rica was even going to be 5 minutes late, she called. She had never, not once, missed work without picking up the phone first. In a restaurant where the staff is always shifting, schedules are always moving, they could always count on Rica. She was a constant. She was reliable. That morning, she had already dropped her son off at the babysitter's. His name is Donnell. He's 11 months old at this point. Rica would call him throughout the day. Her aunt would say that she checked in on him constantly, all day long, every day. He was the center of her world. Rica was in her work uniform, so black shirt, black sweater, black pants. She had things she planned to do after her shift and her son to pick up. At some point that morning, her aunt, Resenda, spoke to her by phone. It was the last time they would talk. And what her aunt remembers years later is simple. Rica said, "I love you. I love you." And that was all. Around 10 a.m., Rica walked out. A car was waiting outside. A coworker saw her get in the car. She didn't take her purse, though. She didn't take her wallet. She didn't even take her cell phone. Her coworkers assumed she was coming right back, but she didn't come back. She didn't pick up Donnell from the babysitter. She didn't call in to work the next day or the day after that. This is Ricarda Tillman-Lockett's story.
That's interesting. Very intriguing right off the bat.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about Rica. The people who loved her are remarkably consistent about who she was.
Yeah.
They say the same thing, and it's not vague. It's not, she lights up her room, right? They're telling you that she is someone they genuinely miss at the dinner table. Her mom, Francesca, described her saying she was always making somebody laugh. She was so fun to be around, always the life of the party. Her aunt, who helped raise her, said, "My beautiful niece. She just wanted to have a family and always do right." Rica was born on April 12, 1984, on the Winnebago Indian Reservation in Nebraska. So she was an enrolled member of the Winnebago Tribe. Her childhood moved between two places. So Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where her father's family lived, and Sioux City, Iowa, where her mom, Francesca, had put down roots. She moved to Memphis at age 8, and she would go back and forth. But she came back to Sioux City around 16 to stay for about a year and a half. At that time, she was enrolled in West High School. And then at 18, I think she decided she missed the city life of Memphis and she made the decision to go back and put down roots there. After all, her father's family was there. The city was familiar. It was somewhere she knew. She was 19 years old when she arrived in Memphis permanently. She got a job at Jillian's restaurant in Peabody Place in downtown Memphis. And Jillian's is a busy, well-known spot. It's the kind of place where you learn to work fast and also read people quickly. Her coworkers all said that Rica was really good at it, more than good. And
Is she a server?
it depends on the source you read. Some say she was a server. Some said she was a hostess.
Okay, she probably did both.
That's what I'm thinking too. Candy, who was her manager, described Rica as a star employee. She said the whole restaurant could count on her to know answers to questions, to be able to fill in a pinch, and to always show up. Now, it was at Jillian's that she met Lou Lockett. He came in, they talked, and within a short time, her mother would later say it felt fast, like startlingly fast. They were married. It was about a month after they met. So I don't think her mom's the only one that would say it felt fast. The wedding was in 2005, and at this point, Rica was 20 years old. 9 months after that, Donnell was born. And for a moment, at least on the surface, it seemed like Rica had what she'd been reaching for. She had her family, they had a home, she had a baby boy that she would call through the day to check in. Her aunt would say that she really wanted to be a mother and a wife and all of that. And by all accounts, she was extraordinary in that mother role. You could just tell that Donnell was the center of everything for her. Now, Rica had been in Memphis by 2007 for about 4 years. In that time, she'd built her life there. She had the job she was good at. She had her son. She had a network of coworkers who really cared whether she showed up. I mean, they were all invested. She had her mother in Iowa. She talked to her often. She had her aunt who lived close by. Some of the sources say this aunt is the one that would watch Donnell for her. Other sources will say the babysitter, but her
Probably
aunt
interchangeable,
still,
yeah.
Yeah. Her father lived there, at least at first, and then close by 2007. The point of all of that is that she wasn't alone.
Right, she had a network.
She had a network. She was loved, and she was loved by people who knew exactly who she was. We're going to talk more about her marriage, but it was not a good situation right from the beginning. And all of those systems that should have protected her, the legal system, the shelter system, all of it were really about to fail Rica in ways that her family is still trying to reckon with 2 decades later.
Which is interesting because Memphis Police Department is actually one of the best in the country.
Right. I have heard that. Now, before we get to the Memphis police part of it all, let's talk about her relationship with Lou Lockett. His behavior, his records, his choices. While it all matters, and we'll get to it, this section really is about Rica and what she was living through, about this pattern. There are records of what happened during this time.
How old was he?
That I haven't been able to find.
I'm assuming he's quite a bit older than her. I don't know why I feel like he's at least 10 years older. Because I'm like, how do you lock down a 20-year-old in months?
There's a really long video of his first interview, which was not that long after she disappeared, like with reporters. And he doesn't look that old, but I can send it to you real quick. The article is from 2025, but they pulled out their archives and put in their interview with him from 2007.
Oh, she's pretty.
She's so pretty. Maybe he could be 10 years older now that I really look close. So, like I mentioned, Rica and Lou were married in 2005. And if you were looking at the relationship from the outside, the first sign that something was wrong came almost immediately. 5 days after their wedding, police were called to Jillian's restaurant. Lou Lockett had shown up at Rica's workplace. He was yelling. He was cursing at the doorman about a situation involving his wife. and he was armed. Police found him with a loaded semi-automatic pistol
Wow.
5 days into the marriage,
I mean, but what could possibly possess you to show up to her employer
right?
with a gun?
With a gun.
Like,
What were you
hello, there's
planning?
witnesses. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And what followed over the next year and a half also just feels.
And this is before she got pregnant, right?
They say that she had Donnell 9 months after they got married.
Okay, so there may have been some
So
overlap.
maybe, or maybe it was just right away.
Right.
His birthday is the end of February
Okay.
in 2006.
Well, that would make sense as to why all of a sudden she got married very quickly.
Right. Now, over the next year and a half, the records describe financial disputes and escalating confrontations. Rica's coworkers at Jillian's knew something was wrong. Candy would tell reporters later, quote, "She always said he's crazy and that she needs to get away." So Rica knew, she said it out loud. She named what was happening. She was trying to figure out how to leave safely, which we've said it before. If you know anything about domestic violence, it's the most dangerous thing a person can attempt.
Yeah, and with a child, yeah.
And with, I mean, a baby, like
Right.
11 months old.
Who I'm sure he's holding over her head.
Yes. Then, January 2007, 1 month before Rica vanishes, police are called to the couple's home on Stewart Road, not once, but twice in a single day. When officers arrive, they see marks on Rica's neck consistent with strangulation. The police report is specific. It says, Lou Lockett grabbed victim and pushed her down and choked her. When officers make contact with Lou, he is sitting in his vehicle outside, and there's a loaded 9mm handgun in the glove box. He's arrested. He's charged with assault. Rica tells police something else during this period, something that doesn't make headlines but is on the record. Rica tells police that Lou had verbally threatened to kill her or members of her family on 3 separate occasions.
That's terroristic threats, which they do take very seriously, especially when he is known now twice at least to have access to a weapon,
Right?
like within his, either on his person or in his vicinity.
Well, they charge him and he's released. So I don't know.
That's consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say anything's wrong with that. Innocent till proven guilty.
Right. I wish there had been something else to hold him on.
Yeah.
But
this is at an age when stalking, I don't think, has made any advances in people actually knowing it's a serious crime.
exactly.
And the fact that they were husband and wife
Mm.
also plays into it. It's like, oh, it's a spat. It's whatever.
Right. It's a marital
Yeah.
dispute.
Marital.
Conflict.
Yeah.
Something small. After this incident, though, it was enough. Rica takes Donnell and leaves. They move into a battered women's shelter. She got a protection order against Lou.
Okay, good. Gets into a shelter, which for all intents and purposes means he has no idea where she's at. Also good.
Exactly. Very important.
Although I'm going to assume, actually, we know that she got into a car at her job, because I'm like, he still knows where she works, though, and that's the problem.
Exactly. And that is his car that she got into, which,
So we do know that for sure.
yes. Luckily, she'd worked there long enough.
Well, and
that,
because I was waiting to ask this, but now I can, because she didn't bring a purse with her. She didn't bring a cell phone. She left everything in her work. So yes, she was just planning on having a quick word. And then, although, so she hadn't planned on leaving. At the same time, though, there's an order of protection. It means he shouldn't have shown up to her job.
right.
So instead of her getting in the car with him, she should have called the police. Also, though, the fact that he showed up is an automatic violation of the order of protection.
Which doesn't seem to ever
Matter. Yeah.
Exactly. We are going to come back to all of that because there's so much in that, him showing up to her job. Right?
Yeah. Because that's right off the bat. That's violating the order of protection.
Yes. Rica tells her aunt that she's not going back to them. She says he's been using me. And that was just in the days leading up to when she disappeared.
Did it say what she meant by that statement?
That he's been using her.
Yeah, like, because I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure what that means either. I'm just put out a couple guesses, but
curious, yeah.
Yeah. The day before she vanishes, she tells her family she's done. She's leaving for good. And Rica is doing everything right. Sometimes there's this quiet tendency in the way these stories get told to imply that the victim somehow made a mistake, that she should have left sooner or differently or more completely. Rica left. She went to a shelter. She got the protection order. She told the people who loved her. She talked to police. She had a plan. I mean, she did everything right. On the morning of February 19th, 2007, Lou came to pick her up at her workplace, which, like Shannon mentioned, should be against that protection order. And one thing that I tried to find a couple things with this that I wasn't able to find, like what she told her coworkers or what he said to get her in the car. My guess is something with Donnell.
Right. He probably just texted her, say, hey, come out real quick. Da, 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 da. I just need to ask whatever. I mean, we can go through it. It's unfortunate she sat in the car instead of just talking to him. It's unfortunate she went out there. It's unfortunate that nobody else called the cops right away for violating the order of protection, because him just showing up there is already violating it. I mean, we can what if this to death.
Right.
My guess is she probably, again, thought work was probably a safe spot or neutral. I mean, even though he'd shown up before with a weapon.
That was, more a year and a half ago.
Right.
So
like
maybe...
I can see I mean, and if he's stayed away from her work since then, I can see having the trust that work is a neutral spot from confrontation.
Right. Now, we don't know what happened in the hours after she got in the car. Not with certainty. I mean, Lou was...
Right. She had no phone to track. She has nothing.
Exactly. But that day, like we mentioned, when Rica arrived at Jillian's for her shift, and this was a Monday, she'd already dropped Donnell off at the babysitter's. So Donnell was living with her at the shelter. It was her standard routine. She had the same way that she started working every day. Typical Monday, present, working. She seemed like her normal self. There was nothing that coworkers pointed to that something was off. Around 10 a.m. is when he arrived to pick her up. A coworker,
or chat with her.
Right. One of the kitchen staff saw her get into his car. So that witness account is one of the few concrete things we have about the moments after Rica left the restaurant. Someone watched her go.
Was she supposed to leave at that time? Like, was it the end of her shift or was it like a break?
That's what I tried to find too. I get the feeling because she dropped Donnell off, gone there. I don't believe it was the end of her shift.
Yeah.
I feel like she was clocking out for a 10-minute break.
Right.
But I couldn't find what her normal
that's a level of detail I can't imagine anybody reporting on.
Yeah.
I'm sure the police know, but because if she clocked out,
and
they wouldn't expect her to come back. But you wouldn't leave your stuff.
If you're clocking out for a break.
Yeah,
or like a lunch, you would clock out. So, but the reporting is not specific. But I just don't know how you can work at a restaurant and be done at 10 a.m.
Well, if it's like Jillian's does not, let's see if it still exists. To me, that sounds like not a 24-hour IHOP or a
No,
Waffle
it doesn't seem like it is.
Now, if it's...
Because also it said she had left Donnell with the babysitter that morning. And she'd already called once to check on him.
Was a popular multi-level entertainment complex located in Peabody Place.
Mm-hmm.
Featured casual American dining, billiards, bowling, and a massive arcade, but permanently closed years ago. Why would that be? That's not a morning restaurant.
So the only thing I can think of is showing up to do prep, setting tables.
Even that seems rather early for this. This seems more lunch. So maybe clocking in at 10 and then
maybe 8 or 9. if you're doing cleanup.
Well, yeah, maybe if they did consider it, because it probably, I think this is the tourist area.
Mhm.
So maybe they were doing lunch.
Yeah. I could see if you have bowling being open earlier.
Let me see. It was a chain.
I've never heard of it.
Me neither. Because this building it basically is what became Dave & Buster's or Lucky Strike.
Oh, okay. Rica left behind her purse, like we mentioned, her wallet, her cell phone, all of her personal belongings, waiting for her to come back. And this was told to law enforcement by the staff at Jillian's. Her coworkers assumed she'd be right back, whether his arrival was expected, whether Rica knew he was coming. None of that is in any of the reporting.
So who got concerned first? The coworkers, since she didn't come back to work?
Yes. Her aunt, again, in the sources, some just say the babysitter.
Yeah.
Her aunt did have Donnell later, so I don't know if the babysitter contacted her when Rica wasn't answering her phone.
Right, when she didn't
or
show
if
up.
she already was watching him that day.
Okay.
But that night, I mean, even during the day, she was concerned because Rica would call and check on him on any break she had.
Right.
And that hadn't happened.
I mean, and especially if she wasn't technically clocked out yet, was the coworkers like, wow, she's never left early before and now she's left without saying a word? Like, what's going on?
And Candy is the one that reports her missing to the police.
Okay. So it is a coworker / friend.
Yes. And because the next day she doesn't show up, it says she missed 2 shifts without showing up.
Yeah.
And was reported missing. So.
Again, interesting that her husband, even with an order of protection, hasn't reported her missing.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is probably his reasoning for not calling it in, because he would have, if he's going to stick to a story, it's going to say, well, I didn't know because I'm not allowed to talk to her.
Exactly. So Lou has given his account of what happened next. He gave it to police. He also gave it on camera to WMC Action 5 News on February 28th, 2007. So just 9 days after Rica disappeared. And I will, of course, link to this on our blog post so you can watch it all if you want. Lou says he drove Rica to their home on Stewart Road near the University of Memphis. He says she was coming to collect her clothes and leave some of Donnell's things at the house. He says he dropped her off. Then he left. He told police he went to a friend's house to work on a car. And for no reason that's been explained, he says he spent the night at his mother's house instead of his own. He says he had no idea Rica was missing until the following day when the babysitter called to say Rica hadn't come to pick up Donnell. Couple things that I want to point out from his interview before we talk about all of the problems with his version of events. On camera, he said, I think she's going to pop up and that everybody's going to see her and know where she is and all of that. He also said, I know deep in my heart that I didn't kill her. And then when asked about those who suspected him, he said, if they are not looking for the truth, I won't want to deal with them. If they are looking, then I can try to help them. I can take a lie detector test.
Which has he ever done?
No source says that he's ever taken a lie detector test. So either he has and they didn't put it out, or he's just saying that.
Right.
I totally would.
Right, to the
scheduling
press,
conflict.
but not the police. Right.
Exactly. Then the reporter asked, do you want her to come back? This answer says everything. He said, that's a hard thing to say because it was really on her. To be honest, no. I miss her, but no.
Dude, there's a way to answer that.
And that is not it.
Still not be with the person.
That is.
Yes, I want her to come back.
For our son.
Right. We don't need to be together. But yes, I want her to come back.
Yep. But to be honest, no. He says, I left here because he was at his house when he was giving this interview. And she told me she loved me. I went to work on a car or whatever out in Whitehaven. And it's like, dude, this was 9 days ago and I went to work on a car or whatever. You don't.
Right.
You don't even remember.
You don't even sound concerned with a or whatever.
Exactly. He has maintained his innocence from that day forward.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Now, the first problem with his version of events is him saying that he took her to the house she had fled. So Rica was living in a shelter. She left that house because Lou had choked her there and threatened to kill her. She had a protective order. The shelter was where she was safe.
Did he have a reason for why she didn't bring her purse or her phone?
Not that I found. And
not that he said during his interviews.
Exactly. But I so wish that they had asked him some of these things.
Yeah. Which maybe they have.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure police have.
Yeah. And that's really who I meant.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
I wish
the press?
The reporters had.
Yeah.
As they're just,
I mean, maybe they did and this just stuff got cut out of their interview.
True. Possible. But if Rica needed to collect belongings, there's a standard process for that. There is a police escort, a supervised visit, a safe and documented transfer of property. Taking a domestic violence victim back to the home she had fled alone, without documentation, without witnesses, is not that process. Now, Lou also says in the interview that they were sharing one car. So for him to say that he dropped her off at that house and then left to go work on another car, whenever he came, I mean...
Which, if they're sharing a car, how does she got herself to work and dropped the baby off? So she had the car, right?
It seems like it. I don't know how you share a car with someone.
No, that you've actively left.
Right. So maybe
but I also, how do you...
Using public transportation?
Yeah, which, okay, yeah, maybe she didn't take the car and she was using the bus to drop the kid off and then get back on the bus to go to work. That's interesting.
Right. Rica's aunt told reporters that when she talked to Lou, he said he dropped her off at the house, went to run some errands, came back later that day, and she was gone. So he just figured she went back to work or went to the shelter, whatever his words. But even that small version of events, the day, coming back or not returning to the house at all.
That doesn't seem weird. Right. The fact that she wasn't done, doesn't sound like she was done working for the day. For somebody who doesn't miss, that just seems odd.
Right. You're not going to go on your 10 or 15 minute break, even say it was 30.
Right. Leave.
To go there, find stuff, drop stuff off. What do you mean drop stuff off? Did she have it with her?
Right.
It doesn't sound like it in any of
she's at work.
Witness accounts. Exactly. So it doesn't make sense. And also,
God, all I'm envisioning is that he's texted her. Gosh, and this is still in the days of flip phones.
Mm-hmm.
So he's texted her, and the minute he texts her, he's violating the order of protection. And I'm like, oh God, why did you respond? Why did you go outside?
That's why I feel like it had to be something with
the baby. Now. Yeah, like I picked the son up from daycare. Like he's in the car. Like what would get her outside? The baby's in the car with him.
Right. Maybe the baby's in the car because the baby spiked a temperature. Right. And
I still can't see the babysitter releasing him to the dad, even though legally you'd have to. But if the OOP covered, I'm assuming the baby as well, especially at his age, 11 months is still pretty young. The mom's going to get at least custody right off the bat, especially when there's violence that they've granted an OOP for.
Right. And if it were her aunt,
she
would not have.
But even the babysitter, I mean, granted, you're not trying to get involved, but that's where it's unfortunate that she got away at the same time, though, but kept her same schedule.
Right.
He knows it.
He does.
He knows where his son is. He knows where she works.
Yes. So whether he talked to anybody about the baby or not, if he's texting her that, being that fierce mama
did he go pick up his son after she shows up missing on the 19th?
No. He did try to after the missing persons report was filed at 3 a.m. And Donnell was with Rica's aunt.
Yeah.
And he's out there saying,
why would you wake a baby at 3 a.m.?
Right.
He didn't get more like baby. His mom told you to go get your son to not make you look so suspicious. Why aren't you getting your son?
Exactly. Rica's aunt, when he did that, called police, and she says that they picked him up down the street, like he had decided to leave when she said she was calling police. He also was not granted custody pretty quickly after.
Oh, that's very telling as well.
Yes. Right. Now, problem number 2 with his version of accounts, or 7, I think at this point.
Oh, wow.
I've lost count, but
so his story has changed.
It has changed, but even the initial one is
it doesn't really make sense.
Right. He says that she was going back to the shelter that night, and he was certain that she did. I don't know how he thought she was getting there, but the employees there told authorities that Rica never arrived that evening. She didn't check in. She wasn't there. So somewhere between the house on Stewart Road, if that is indeed where he took her, and the shelter, Rica disappeared. And again, the only person who can account for what happened in that gap is Lou Lockett. Now, Lou says he didn't know Rica was missing until the babysitter called the following day. But think about her phone being at the restaurant. Anyone trying to reach her would have gotten no answer from 10 a.m. onwards. If Donnell wasn't picked up that afternoon, and Rashenda, so Rica's aunt, knew something was wrong right away, the alarm was raised that evening, not even the following day, right? For Lou to have been contacted by whoever had Donnell, the person would have needed to have Lou's contact information and also not know what was going on with Rica and Lou.
Right.
Which I just don't see how that's possible.
Right. If her coworkers knew, her family has known. Like, people know. She's not being shy about it. She's telling people.
Yes.
And I mean, fully saying, I'm just trying to figure out how to get away safely.
100%.
As if she knows that that's the hardest, like the most dangerous time to leave.
Yes.
Like someone has told her that information. So is she 22 at this point?
She is 22.
Okay.
Yes. Let's talk about the investigation a little bit. Rica wasn't reported missing for about 7 days, not until the 26th of February.
Which has anyone said why? That one, why did it take so long? And 2, why did her boss? The boss, what, her mom, her dad, her aunt?
Specifically tried to find that. The sources don't tell us. So they don't tell us whether they tried to file a report that day and were told to wait. They don't tell us whether Memphis police were contacted in the first hours and dismissed the family's concerns. I mean,
I would think they already have a record of interactions with them.
Exactly. But still, in 2007, depending on who's taking that initial call, departments had that informal policy, sometimes formal ones, of not accepting missing persons reports for adults.
What, 72 hours or whatever?
Yeah, 24, 48, 72, whatever it might be. I couldn't find anywhere in
Right.
the
And she's an
sources.
adult. She's not a kid.
Right. So
You're allowed to disappear.
And I could see a world where they're going, you know what? Maybe she just needed a break from everything with him. And that sounds crazy.
It really does when there's an 11-month-old baby involved.
Right.
Like he possibly wasn't even walking yet. That's when a child is still very dependent on especially the mother.
Exactly. Which I just feel like should play in
Like you haven't
more often.
You haven't transitioned them to cow's milk. You haven't given them honey. You haven't given them eggs. Like this is still a
Totally.
baby.
Yes.
That's wild.
And they're just like, and I don't know.
Right. We don't
Maybe
know.
they were not reporting it because they were looking for her, but I also don't see a world where that's true.
Well, not when you have the actual date as 7 days later or 9 days or whatever it was. And I can't believe it was the boss, like her boss had to do it.
And maybe they took it. We have seen cases where they take it more seriously from a boss who calls in and says, look,
And
she has
family.
this history for the last 4 years.
Right.
And, you know,
Yeah.
we're worried too. Maybe the family did call that day in 3 days. And then by the time she called, they're like,
Which that's a good point because maybe the family had been trying to get it. And so then they talked to the boss. And so the boss tried it. And shockingly, that worked. Like, yes, you do have a third party, AKA neutral person that's saying this is very unlike this in person. And which again is a more neutral response.
And there is a world where she works the busiest days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then ends her week on Monday and has Tuesday and Wednesday off. So
yeah, very true.
She doesn't come back, but
yeah,
you know, those two. And then maybe she misses Thursday and misses Friday.
Yeah. And that's the key.
And then they don't call till the next Monday because I don't know. I spent a long time sitting with that, trying to think of why.
I know. It just seems so crazy that it feels like it wasn't taken seriously when I don't know why this one just feels so obvious.
Right.
I mean, just besides the history, the fact that there's an 11-month-old baby.
Yes. That screams to me. And
yeah.
And this baby that she doesn't even go her work day.
Right. Without checking on.
Exactly.
Especially, and it's not like the baby's with a daycare or,
right.
And I'm going to say it's not the babysitter, it's the aunt.
I really feel like it is.
If anything, you feel more comfortable with family.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you still chose to call and check on him.
Exactly. And, you know, if you're calling a daycare, they're not really going to give you the play-by-play.
No, you get I never called the daycare. I literally would read the report. They would give you a report every day and I would read through that. I always enjoyed those to see what they'd done that day. But I certainly, I certainly wasn't calling every break I had at work to check on my child in the daycare because in my mind, I was paying them to watch them. And I had one where we didn't have cameras. I mean, now I know there's ones that even have cameras into the room so you can watch whenever you want. This was at a time when that didn't exist, or at least not at this particular daycare.
Right.
I still didn't call every break. I went, I expected them to call me if something went wrong. And otherwise I would read the report that they would provide every single day.
I would get pictures of her doing fun things. I always liked those, but that was when she was
we would get those occasionally, and that's more when I got to know the teachers and we exchanged phone numbers and the teachers would then do it. But no, I just would go read the report.
Yeah.
Or, I'd go in and talk to the teacher. How did it go today? And what did they do? And, or I'd read the report and then comment on stuff that they had done.
Totally. And you're not going from checking in multiple times a day to
cold turkey
silence.
No.
You're going to back it off a little bit, check in once or twice.
Okay, now I'm comfortable.
Yeah. Right. And they're a little older.
Yeah.
That feels a little better. When she was reported missing, Memphis police initially assigned the case to the missing persons unit. According to most reports, and there was one news article from March 7th or 8th of 2007, that also confirmed this. But within days, the case was transferred to the homicide unit.
Okay. Well, that at least they are taking it a little bit more seriously now.
They said more resources were needed. And then
I agree.
Almost as an aside, he says, quote, "Unfortunately, this is not that uncommon a thing for Memphis." I'm sorry, sir. Not that uncommon?
Yeah. Which part?
What?
Going missing?
Or transferring
Going missing with young children?
the case and not having resources?
Yeah, cases going from missing to murdered very quickly.
What? While the case was getting started, her family was making calls, passing out flyers. Both of her parents were in the
Lou
city.
Lockett known to authorities besides the domestic violence?
That is a good question.
Did he have a criminal record?
I did not see that in the reporting.
Interesting. Okay.
But entirely possible. We talked about Lou giving the interview to reporters. He was also interviewed by police in those first days after she was officially a missing person. He was not named a suspect, and he was not charged with anything related to Rica's disappearance. Then he gave the interview we went through. Rica's aunt sat with what she knew, and she said the thing that she's been saying ever since. She said, from day one, day two, I asked him where Rica is, why he won't tell us. He won't say nothing. I wish he would just tell because she was with him last. I wish he would just tell us. Rica's father drove from Iowa to Memphis to help search. The family passed out flyers. They made calls. They did everything they could think of to find her. Police received several tips from people, but they were all claiming to have seen Rica in the days after her disappearance. They weren't able to verify any of them.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
I'm trying to Google this, so I'm Googling to see if I can find a date of birth for him. Are you going to talk about the book he wrote?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm just like, please tell me we're talking. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
like that woman who wrote children's books, that wrote the whole grief thingy and then she's now been convicted. I'm like, hello.
There are at least 6 other cases like that I found.
Yeah.
Including most notably O.J. Simpson.
Yes. Yeah. If I would have done it.
Here's how.
Although it's funny because I do believe he did it. At the same time, though, I think his not guilty is correct. I don't think they proved he did it. And it's because they were so shady about their investigation. I know Johnny Cochran's an amazing lawyer, but I'm like, I do believe the verdict was correct based on what was presented.
Totally. If you find out how old he is, let me know.
So AI says that there's nothing documented, but I'm going to keep looking.
Okay. Now, about 3 weeks after Rica went missing, her aunt brought something to Action 5 news reporters, a book. It was written and self-published by Lou in July of 2006. So before Rica disappeared, about 7 months. And it was titled, If M Was O, M B.
Wait, what? If M was O, M B?
O and B.
What does that even mean?
Good question. No one really knows. Lou described it as fiction, crime and the mafia. So I'm assuming he was trying to do MOB like mob, but I'm not entirely sure. On that article that I sent you, there's a picture of the cover. And I don't know if he wrote mob under the M or if someone else did. It's not like available really anywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere because he self-published it.
Right.
He said it's all fiction.
Which, okay, back then you had BMF was big, which is Black Mafia Family, which they appeared to be a bunch of rappers, but in reality they were 2 brothers that ran a drug network and then they sponsored rappers. So I'm trying to think of MOB. I feel like that's some kind of gang affiliation.
Possibly.
But still, what's a very
mob?
odd type, not even the mob.
No,
just
but like
it probably like I'm thinking it's like Memphis something boys or whatever.
Oh.
And so that's the code, but yet it's like Memphis something boys. Because you had 3-6 Mafia, big back then, actually earlier, but 3-6 Mafia is from Memphis. And they were big in the 90s. They would go play people's house parties before they ever made it big.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then like you could just invite them to your neighborhood party and they'd come perform.
Oh, wow.
And then who else was coming out of the South? 3-6 Mafia is from there.
Shannon knows some of everything. I'm always so impressed. This book, Rica's aunt has a copy of it. She read passages on camera.
Did her family know about this book before she went missing?
Yep. She says, quote, the book is very demeaning.
8-Ball and MJG, Project Pat, and Yo Gotti. Those are the big ones from that era.
Okay.
From 90s into the 2000s.
It has to be something.
Yeah, I mean, especially like 3-6 Mafia, 8 MJG. Again, there's letters. I don't know why. It feels familiar, and now I'm knowing why. Because like those are two big rappers that used almost like it's not alliteration, but like letters, like 3 letters, 3.
Oh yeah. What was the second one you said? You said 3-6 Mafia and
it's 8-Ball,
8-Ball,
and MJG, and it's really MJG I'm thinking of. I don't know if that's like his initials. I'm sure it is, but that's just the rapper name he goes by.
Gotcha.
But they performed together. They were also big then.
Huh. Were they all?
Those are all Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah, those were all Memphis rappers that were known around the country. Like they made it, like, because 3-6 Mafia won a Grammy. But yeah, so they would have been, and I'm sure as much as they quote unquote fell off in the pop world, they're still probably big in Memphis because they were Memphis born and bred, and they were already doing things in Memphis for years before they ever made it to regular radio. I mean, maybe that's his rap name or like, but it just feels, I mean, because most rappers will tell you that they're paying for their music by dealing drugs, doing some type of criminal activity to then fund what they actually want to do to go legit. So
right.
That's not out of the realm.
This book, though, is a little bit out of the realm.
Yeah. Tell me about this book.
It contained detailed passages about dissolving human bones in acid. It described methods for burying a body in a way that would prevent discovery. One of the quotes from it says, if the acid is good, the bones will get ate up to nothing. Rica's dad, who has also seen it, said that book is very demeaning and immoral towards women.
Which, I mean, I'm curious, did anyone ask him about it? Like, what research did he do to write this book, or did he just make it all up?
So he says it is pure fictional fantasy, completely made up. They still gave it to investigators. It felt relevant now that Rica is missing. In 2025, WREG's Haunting Justice investigative team obtained and photographed the book as part of their reporting, so they were able to confirm the title and its existence. Lou has never publicly explained the book's contents and says it has nothing to do with Rica disappearing. It's, of course, on its own not evidence of a crime, but it exists. Its purpose partly talks about how to make a body disappear, and written just 7 months before Rica goes missing. So kind of just sits in the record along with everything else right now.
I mean, it is an odd choice considering you already have DV with your now wife to then put out a book.
Yeah.
That's very...
And DV before and after.
Yeah.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
In the weeks after Rica vanished, Memphis Judge Curtis Pearson signed a protective custody order removing Donnell from Lou Lockett's care. The judge found Lou to be a risk to the child's safety. Family members had raised concerns. A police officer reported that Lou had been, quote, acting very strange.
Oh, I found a picture of the book. Do you have it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What does yours look like?
So it does
Yeah.
say if mob was O and B.
That's the picture I had too, so I couldn't tell if they had added the OB under the M or
I
if
think so.
that's how it was supposed to
That's
be.
how it's supposed to be.
That title still just makes no sense. I've seen people trying to guess what the letters stand for.
And you see, it looks like girls sitting down or kneeling to a bunch of men, one holding, we'll call it an AK or an AR. That looks like this man's like holding ropes.
Yeah.
I can't even tell. I mean, I can't tell what that picture's supposed to be, but it still looks like it could be the outline of a woman.
The one on the far left side. That one looks like a woman because it looks like she's wearing heels. But yeah, it does look like a couple people standing up while there are 5 figures on the ground, sitting, kneeling. And that definitely looks like some kind of automatic rifle. It's disturbing, the cover.
It's a very odd. I mean, I would say the cover has nothing to do with the story, and the title has nothing to do with the story.
I really wanted to find a transcript of it. I tried
I mean,
really
it
hard.
clearly means it stands for something.
Maybe something that makes sense when you read it.
Well, no, I think it stands for something that people know. Like it's, again, MOB actually stands for something.
This is going to come to you. You're going to find it. I can tell.
I just feel like it means something. And yeah, it might spell out the word mob, but it means something else. Like each letter stands for something. And that's why if mob was just O and B, so it's really what does the O and the B stand for?
Right. You need to put that in and cycle it through words and see. That would be interesting. This court order from a few weeks after Rica vanished, there is a line in it. The judge wrote, "The father has been heard stating the mother is dead, but the mother has yet to be located." This was just 3 weeks or so after Rica went missing. Donnell went to live with Rica's aunt. 8 months later, Lou Lockett went back to court and regained custody. Rica's family, for at least a while, lost contact with Donnell. I have seen in reports that they were able to get custody back, but now here's something that wasn't publicly confirmed until just last year in 2025. In WREG's Haunting Justice series, Shelby County Deputy District Attorney Paul Hagerman spoke on the record. He confirmed that Lou Lockett has always been a person of interest in Rica's disappearance. And then he confirmed something else. He said that Lou used some of Rica's personal information and credit cards, quote, things like that, after she went missing. The DA's office said on record they have always wanted explanations for his conduct, but no explanation has ever been provided. And as of, July 2026, no charge has ever been filed. Now, 5 years after Rica disappeared, in 2012, Memphis Police Lieutenant Mark Miller told the Sioux City Journal that Rica's case was, quote, problematic, given what he described as her, quote, history of leaving unannounced.
What?
Yes. He added, almost as an afterthought, that investigators didn't think that's what happened at this time. So, exactly your response. History of leaving unannounced.
Okay, she clearly moved back and forth between Iowa and Memphis, and it doesn't seem like it was unannounced any of those times.
No.
Or that she was always at work.
Exactly.
On time, never called out. If she was going to be 5 minutes late, she called to let them know.
Yep. She would call and check on Donnell. The shelter said she was an active resident and followed
The
her
rules.
timeline,
Right.
followed her rules.
Yeah, because you have to show up by a certain time or they lock the doors, again, for safety.
Exactly. And her family, her friends, her coworkers, they've all said from the beginning that she would have never left without telling someone and never left her son. And here's the most important part. Lieutenant Mark Miller himself, the same officer who said the quote I read in the beginning of this, told the news in February of 2007, within days of her disappearance, that her absence was unusual. That not coming back, not calling, that was not something that Rica did. And so those two statements cannot be true. In 2007, and again, the same person calling her absence unusual, in 2012, calling it a pattern. So where did the history of leaving unannounced come from? The sources don't say, and no reporter asked or followed up on it. But it is worth considering whose account of Rica could have introduced that framing. Lou Lockett was the person police interviewed most extensively in those early days. He might have had a direct interest in characterizing Rica as someone who left without warning. And if that framing, introduced by the person of interest, absorbed into the investigation's working understanding of the case, if that shaped how seriously the family's early concerns were received, then it was not just inaccurate, it was dangerous. And we cannot prove that that is what happened, but I want to point out that that characterization exists and it contradicts every other source, and that a Black Indigenous woman leaving a violent marriage was described by police as someone with a history of leaving without warning with no evidence to support it, and in fact, significant evidence against it. That framing, it does not help Rica. It only helps explain her away.
Yeah, and it kind of lets Lou off the hook.
100%. And again, if he's the one interviewed the most and he has something to gain by them thinking that's her normal pattern, are they taking that seriously? Is that how the investigation is going after they sit down with him a handful of times? I truly hope not. But to say it on record in one of the very few newspaper articles that exists, I can't not bring that up. We mentioned Deputy DA Hagerman. He said something else on the record in 2025. He said the early investigation was built on the expectation that Rica would be found, that investigators assumed that she would turn up alive or that they would find her remains. And
okay, well, the second one isn't exactly great.
No, it is not great. It is interesting how quickly they moved it from missing person to homicide. Even if they want to say that gives them more resources, they're coming at the case with a different vantage point.
I want to know how many people were going missing in Memphis at that particular month.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, this one seems so obvious. And I don't know, again, in what any of that initial couple first day would lead anyone to think that this was normal.
Exactly. I really want to know.
I mean, the minute she doesn't show up to pick up the child,
exactly.
I think should be raising alarm bells.
And why wasn't it? What happened?
Yeah.
And okay, so it isn't for 7 days. We've missed our critical early window. What happened after?
Mm-hmm.
Did they go to that house and thoroughly search it? Did they search the car? I can't find in a single television coverage or newspaper or source anything about her phone other than she left it at Jillian's. So did they get it?
Did they find her phone at work or did they find it at his house?
it was at work, except one source says that he told somebody he came back to the house and her phone was plugged in and charging.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is in the reporting, but nothing else says that it was at the house. It all says she left it at work.
Because then I'm thinking, okay, which granted, this is '07, so I don't know what kind of cell phone towers they can ping back then.
Right.
But at least get into her messages and see what was the interaction. How did she get in this car?
Yes.
What led her to get in this car?
Exactly.
Why didn't she just immediately call and say he's violating the order of protection?
Right. It had to be something.
And I have to assume that because she had Donnell with her, that means the OP covered him as well. Plus, I mean, the only thing I will say is the reason he wouldn't have taken her back to the shelter is generally you don't disclose the location of a shelter for safety reasons. So he, in essence, shouldn't have known where it was.
And nothing in here, I never found that he knew where that was.
Yeah, I mean, technically, they might have a face of a location, but in true DV, where you stay overnight is a secret for everyone's safety. You know, it's generally group homes and you have maybe 20, women and children or 10 women and children staying at a spot, or maybe you stay at a different spot every night, again, just to keep rotation going so nobody can track you.
Right.
I mean, it's a secret for a reason.
Exactly. And, I don't think he ever said he took her to the shelter, but why did you take her to the house?
Right. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
If anything, you would have taken her back to work and dropped. I would say if he was smarter, he would have said, no, she got out of the car and I drove away. And she went back into work. I don't know why they're saying she didn't go back into work. I literally left the parking lot. But I do wonder if they ever did search his house. Even from when she was still labeled as missing, did you search his house? Because again, if she's not there, you would have let them in.
Yes, exactly. And I would think if he's telling them he took her to the house, shouldn't that give them enough to go look there? Maybe not, but I would hope so. And maybe they did search it, but he still had a week to get rid of whatever, at least a week, maybe longer. But that initial assumption that she would be found and then physical evidence would follow doesn't seem like the best way to go about this kind of investigation. And that's really what the deputy DA was saying in 2025. Also in 2025, when WREG put out the Haunting Justice series, they had attempted multiple times to contact Lou for comment as part of their current reporting, and they were unsuccessful. Now, we've talked about a lot of MMIW cases over the last year. A lot of them, part of the narrative is that we've got jurisdictional issues. We've got this rural community.
Right. We don't have that in this case, and we still have problems.
Exactly. Rica's cousin, a man named Walter Goodwin, is also a member of the Winnebago Tribe. He works as assistant director for student support at the University of Minnesota. When Rica disappeared in 2007, he became, really without choosing it, part of what he described as a vast network of families across the United States and Canada. Families who have all been impacted by the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women. He spoke about Rita publicly multiple times. In 2017, he said, "It's been more than a decade. The feeling of hopelessness never really goes away." And he noted something specific. He said that even though her disappearance took place off tribal land in a major American city, the investigation still led to no arrests. The jurisdiction didn't help her. The geography didn't protect her. Being in Memphis, in a restaurant with coworkers, manager who knew what was going on in her life, they knew her schedule, everything, none of it was enough. According to a 2018 report, and we have mentioned this before, 4 out of 5 Indigenous women have experienced some form of violence in their lifetime. But 96% of Indigenous women who experience violence experience it at the hand of a non-native perpetrator. That number was shocking to me.
That's almost 100%.
Yeah. That number, that's where Rica fell in. That is part of the pattern that started happening to her 5 days after her wedding.
96%.
96.
I mean, those are statistics that makes it feel like, again, people who have an inclination to be a certain way are specifically choosing women
Mm-hmm.
because somehow they know they can get away with it.
Right. And I mean, we're talking about Rica's case over 19 years later. There have been no charges. He's never even been named a suspect, just a person of interest.
Is she native and white, or is she native and black?
She's native and black.
Okay.
And like we mentioned, she was not on a reservation.
Yeah.
She was in Memphis in the jurisdiction of the Memphis Police Department, which, like Shannon mentioned, is
known for being one of the top police departments in the U.S.
Yes. And still, the case was initially built by the DA's own admission on the assumption that she would be found for whatever reason.
Found as remains. I mean, I'm like, okay, that's great.
Right. And the second half of that sentence was found, and then we would have evidence to then solve it or move forward with it. But just waiting.
Yeah,
for
it
that
feels like they
aspect.
skipped over the let's find a missing person part and just was, I won't say hoping, but expecting remains to show up, which, I mean, again, what was going on in Memphis during that time? Is this like a trend happening at that moment where there's a lot of women who are going missing and immediately the remains are found, so they immediately switch to murdered?
Possibly. But it doesn't feel like they investigated it like a murder investigation.
No.
I don't know.
And the fact that she's never been found, okay, did they check his alibi in Whitehaven? Did they check his route to Whitehaven?
What do we think about his changing stories that he came back to the house, or he didn't come back to the house that night?
Stayed with his mom.
Right. Why? Why did you stay with your mom? You have your own place. I don't have those answers, and I really want to know.
I want to know if there's been any other domestic violence situations with him since Ricarda.
I didn't find any when I specifically searched just for him.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they don't exist.
Right.
But yeah.
Is he still in Memphis?
That I'm not sure because he wouldn't participate with the later reporting.
Okay.
Francesca has been adamant, literally from day one, telling reporters that, quote, he is the one, and we don't think she's alive. She has tried contacting America's Most Wanted, the FBI. She went to Memphis. She asked neighbors about Rica and Lou's relationship. She has been such an advocate from day one. And eventually, she had to take down Rica's photographs. She said, quote, I don't even hardly think about it because it hurts so much. Not because she'd forgotten, but it just was so painful. And Rica's father, he, of course, was there on the ground looking, doing everything he possibly could. He did interviews. He passed away without ever finding out what happened to Rica. His sister, who's the aunt that we've mentioned throughout this episode, said that his final words on the subject before he died, she said, the only thing he regretted was that he doesn't know where Rica is. Nobody has told us where my girl is, which heartbreaking.
Yes, not knowing.
So here's what we know. Ricarda Tillman-Lockett would be 42 years old today. She was an enrolled member of the Winnebago Tribe. She was a daughter, a niece, a coworker, a friend, a mother. She went by Rica. She was funny and warm. She loved her son more than anything in the world. On February 19th, 2007, she left work at approximately 10 a.m. She got into the car with Lou. She left behind her purse, wallet, cell phone, and she has never been heard from again. a coworker watched her go. We still don't know what happened in the hours after Rica got into that car. We don't know where she is. Lou Lockett at this point has been named on record by Shelby County Deputy District Attorney Hagerman as a person of interest. That is the official position of the DA's office as of 2025. And to be clear, Lou Lockett has never been charged with anything in connection to Rita's disappearance and has maintained his innocence since February of 2007. If you have any information about the disappearance of Rica, please contact the Memphis Police Department at 901-373-3883. You can also reach CrimeStoppers anonymously at 901-528-CASH. Rica's case is listed in NamUs as case number MP179. Also, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24 hours a day at 1-800-799-7233 or text START to 88788. You don't have to be in immediate danger to call. You just have to need someone to talk to. Rica's family is waiting. If you know anything, please reach out and we'll list those in the show notes as well. Rica has not been forgotten.
We're grateful you spent time with us today on Vanished Voices. These stories matter, and your support helps ensure they're not forgotten. To see our full list of episode sources and extended materials, visit the blog linked on our site, vanishedvoicespodcast.com. There's also linked in our show notes. Follow us across socials, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Vanished Voices Pod. Your messages and feedback help shape the conversations we continue to have. If you'd like to support the show, please take a moment to rate, review, subscribe, and share. We're streaming wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, refuse to let these voices vanish.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.